All right, so how exactly does an artist from Montreal who currently lives in San Francisco team up with a social impact designer who's also from Montreal to create something that starts turning heads in Egypt and then make headlines around the world? I figure we should probably ask him. Wong, who's from Saint Laurent, and Laura Francois from DDO. Hey guys, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So all this winter, to set people up and understand, what exactly you guys did at the Mall of Arabia in Cairo, Egypt. It's your latest creation, big art installation piece. You guys, you made a closet, but wait a second, it's not just any closet, right? This is a very special closet, and it's a big one too.
Yeah, we think it's the world's tallest closet. We weren't able to find a taller one online. This one's 9 meters tall, about 5 meters or 6 meters wide. And it's got 3,000 items of clothing that are hanging out inside of it.
Wow. This is amazing. So you filled this whole thing, from what I understand, with the amount of clothing that the average human in Western society would own and discard over the course of their life, right? So that, like you said, it adds up to about 3,000 items. This is, Laura, this is about consumption, right? I mean, this is a real clothing crisis that we're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, you can call it a clothing crisis, but actually it's a planet crisis. It's a Mother Nature crisis. So it's the average amount that we'll probably use over the course of our lifetime, but that amount is actually probably higher for people in developing regions like here in Montreal. So we'll probably, between you and I, we probably will even wear more than that. And every single item of clothing takes up a lot of resources, more than we probably can even imagine. So walking into a closet that like really takes into account everything you'll wear over the course of your lifetime really means a huge footprint for the planet.
Things we don't think about, right? Because as a society, especially here in the West, we consume and consume and consume, and we don't really think, truthfully, and we should, but we don't often think about the impact that it has on so many things around us. Where did all the clothes from the project actually come from?
Yeah, our clothing was collected from local university. Fayoum University kind of came together. A bunch of students, just about 100 students came together and just donated items of clothing. And, we got all sorts of things. Like we didn't know what we would expect, what we would actually get, but we got things from like toddler size all the way to like long robes, just about everything in between. So that enabled us to like structure our installation from like young person clothing all the way down to like super long dresses, which we thought was like super interesting from a visual standpoint.
It's visually stunning. When I saw the photos and some of the video of it, I went, wow. I mean, I don't think you really, and probably you guys too, as you were conceptualizing this and putting it together, you probably didn't realize what it would look like and what kind of an impact it would have visually until it was finally done. What did you say when you first saw this thing up at the Mall of Arabia? What was your first thought?
I didn't say much. I just cried. I mean, I've been working in this field for a really long time and trying to convince and explain to people of this issue of clothing consumption and how there is no away. Like, you can't throw anything away. For me to kind of see this for the first time, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like the emotional experience that people need to feel to really get it.
And Vaughn, I mean, this isn't the first time you've done something like this, right? You do a lot of large-scale projects. I know that I guess it was a few years ago, you arranged something like 10,000 plastic bottles around a dying mermaid, and this is all about recycling, right? Was that shot here in Montreal?
Yeah, that was actually shot in Pointe Claire. I've been trying to do larger scale installations for a little while now. I've tackled like electronic waste, fast fashion, plastic pollution, and so basically love the idea of converting stuff in like statistics into art and being able to give people a sense of scale and volume, because in some ways it's just really interesting to, so you know how you look at the world and you're like, oh, it's so big, it's so complicated, I can't make a difference. But then when you look at like how much a single person might accumulate over their lifetime, that number suddenly becomes a little more empowering, in that like you might not be able to change the world, but you can change yourself, and you have this much power too. So I don't know, I kind of found that really interesting.
Listen, I love this project. I love you guys on so many levels, because it's about consumption. It's about social change. It's about global economy. It's about so many things that affect us on a daily basis. And there are ways that we can all change. And a project like this, when you really dig deep and look into it and try to understand the nuts and bolts of it, I think that it is something that can spark change. And I love how art is a great conversation starter for this type of thing. And I want to congratulate you both. And I'm really proud that you're both from right here in our own backyard, even though you're on different ends of the world. But way to go, way to go!
Thanks so much.
Thank you for taking the time to cover this story too. I mean, it's so great.
We're so excited to be back in Montreal and to talk to like our home base. It's so nice. Thank you so much,
guys. Listen, I again, thanks so much for taking the time, and I think this is important. Yes, it's nice to talk about the best new pop song, but sometimes take a step back, take a few extra minutes, and talk about something that affects us. And this is a really neat piece that I think is going to start a lot of conversations once people start to hear more about it. And the next one's going to be even bigger and better, I'm sure. So congratulations, safe travels wherever you might be in the coming weeks and months. And next time you're in town, make sure you reach out. Okay, don't be a stranger. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, bye.